your voice and your opinion are very important to your GP and your aged care facilitators in a respectful manner. Do not consent to anything you do not want, because pro-choice keeps our democracy. Thank you.
One of the things that we must do to show a little bit of respect, we must just thank the Ganges, that's police, for what's the name in us and guiding us around the circuit that we done.
Shocking and horrific Australian government fascist lockdown have resulted in a group of patriotic Australians invoking Article 61 of the Magna Carta to dissolve this current Australian government and elect a new competent Australian government under our lawful Australian Constitution.
We are gathered here today to defend and protect what is ours, to protect our body, our mind, and to preserve our beautiful world with its special flora and fauna. No one owns this land, as the Indigenous people know. No one owns your body. We are the caretakers, not the owners.
If there's two things that are important in life, it's truth and it's freedom. We are the informed, we want information and we want the truth. The truth doesn't change.
And thanks to COVID-19, we are united now locally and globally in a way that we weren't before, with an explosive awareness that things are not okay.
The police are here today. The police are giving us respect. The police have followed us, made no trouble with anyone. They're asking for one little simple thing, which isn't their problem. They're not telling us this. The government's made these rules. That's who we have the problem with, not the police here today.
I am speaking on behalf of the future generation, which have no freedom and rights if we do not speak up now.
Now, they often say everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and I agree with that. But people aren't entitled to their own facts.
We have the power! We have the power! We have the power! Sorry, we have the power! Freedom of speech!
We stand up, we don't slow down. When tyranny is all around, in the cities and every town, we must break through this lockdown. We are many, but we are one. We fought through wars under the sun, but we won't lay down. We raise the crown. We are God's people who won't back down. Great Southland, your time's at hand. We won't let them take our land. This is our land. We are the people who have the power. This is the time. This is the hour. We know they wanna steal away. Yeah, clap please. All the rights. Come on. We have today. But we're not stupid, no we're not, we heed the call. This generation will not fall. Another vaccine, right, another tower. We don't consent when you devour every freedom we have today. With this illegal abuse of power. Raise that flag, come on.
It's alright, the media twist it, so, you know, it's alright, you know that.
Guys, you've got to maintain social distancing, groups of 10. This is not groups of 10.
I just want to thank you, Mob, for showing your bravery. What goes into my body is my choice. Not the government. I've gone through and I've seen this thing happen many, many times. Back in the 40s, I thought was pretty bad then. It was governments. And this is what's causing us. It's the people that we put in power. If we can put them in power, we can remove them.
We all know that a war is going on right now, and it's not just a COVID biological war. It's a war about ownership over your body and your mind, and about who owns you. We need to preserve humanity and life. We do not give this power to these chemical companies, to the polluting mining companies and the toxic pharmaceutical companies driven by Gates and Fauci and the World Health. And there is one nasty weapon that this war is using against our pro-choice, and that is fear. And the acronym for fear is false emotions appearing real.
I can see thousands, but I'm sure the media's going to say there's 10 people. They're going to call it a rally. I call it the forming of Parliament, because you are the government. We cannot put all of us in that building over there, so we elect someone. Funnily enough, there's a forget machine at the front door. And as they enter, they forget that they represent us. And everything they do, they must ask for permission from us.
We want options, informed medical options. We ran at the last election, we had a different name. We're going to go for the next federal election. Morelle, who's spoken here, she's one of our candidates. We have Dr. Judy Weilerman in Western Australia. We have Tom Barnett up on the North Coast. We have Alona Land in Queensland. We have Adam Rowe up in North Queensland. We have about another 10 candidates ready to run in the Queensland election. It's not the only way, but it's a one way that we've chosen to do it. And we would love your vote, your support. We'd like to be able to get someone into this house or down in Canberra where we can introduce and speak to bills, where we can be a voice, we can voice your concerns in that house. It's very important. We don't have a voice in there. I started the political party because I contacted every political party and asked them, what are you going to do about no jab, no pay? And none of them were willing to touch it. Not even One Nation at that time.
I vaccinated myself. I vaccinated my son. He stopped talking and lost eye contact the day he was vaccinated. He's never called me daddy since. I saw it happen in front of my face. No one here had to tell me about it. I saw it.
COVID-19 has caused an explosion in public awareness. Rather than meekly hunkering down under house arrest, men and women have taken to their computers and began to ask questions, many of them for the first time. The public has been subject to an orchestrated 5G misinfo campaign. And I would agree wholeheartedly with them that the Australian public has been subject to a misinfo campaign about 5G. What we are seeing here is a warped projection from the government onto the 5G action groups, where the misinfo is not coming from within the 5G movement, but from within the heart of the government and regulatory bodies themselves.
What is happening now, folks? We are getting these laws, dictatorial laws, behind which rests the medical profession. The politicians don't know what a fever is. They don't know much about health. Just take a look at them. Behind the laws comes the advice by the medical bodies. The Chief Medical Officer, Brendan Murphy, has not said one word about health.
What we need to do, folks, we need to be able to, you've got these machines that tell people, you know that little thing you call a telephone? My thing's only making a noise when you clap it together. That's my phone. You can start to let people know. Don't give up. You give up, you lay up, and you lay down and die.
And the funniest thing is they tell you that COVID is not the flu, but you must take a flu shot. Do you not see the lies? Wow! I have never taken a flu shot. You know why? Because I want the flu. I want the flu because the flu tells me I'm tired and I need to rest. They want you to keep working. They want you to basically work until the day you die.
We've got a World Health Organization owned by Bill Gates. Yeah. Right? I mean, it takes a lot to shock me. But when I realised he was a major contributor to the World Health Organization, and if you pay the piper, you call the tune, that was shocking. Right? A few facts about coronavirus. As we all know, it's a common cold. But for the last 7 years, Anthony Fauci has been sponsoring research at the Wuhan Virology Laboratory for what they call gain of function. That means an extra spike protein is added to the coronavirus. And in this instance, they chose the ACE receptor that we all carry in our respiratory system. The angiotensin converting enzyme number 2 receptor has been inserted into a bat coronavirus borrowed from a pangolin coronavirus. These people that say it's a natural mutation are lying through their teeth, right? So, beyond criminals, right? People that destroy the lives of children and the lives of the planet are beyond criminals. There's not really a word in our language to describe what they're doing. This is one rally. This has to be the first, not the last. It has to be the smallest, not the biggest. Right? And we've got to get into their ears, right? We're fighting for life and liberty, and it really is worth doing.
I'm a healthcare professional. I've been practicing for 39 years. And prior to that, I'm a school teacher, and I see people firsthand every day that are damaged from vaccines. I am at the front line of that. I see the tragedy and I see the no choice. I see the people who wish to go into professions that they can't go into because they have to have a jab. They can't be a nurse without a jab. They can't be a doctor without a jab. They can't be a caseworker without a jab. And now we're going to have aged care people locked in a jail because their family can't go in without a jab.
Bullshit!
It's wrong. Yes, this is not fair. They destroyed childcare. They think it was because they jacked up the prices of childcare facilities, and that's one reason. But the other reason was they made kids have to have vaccines to have childcare. That is denying the right of children's education. It is denying them. That is not right, and that collapsed. And now ScoMo says free childcare. Also, what do you think is going to happen to aged care? Same thing. Same thing. people won't want to put their family into an aged care because it'll be a jail. Unless you have a vaccine, you won't be able to visit your mum and your dad, and I have those people already crying and distressed in my clinic. Remember this. You all have natural immunity. We're experiencing it right now. You're breathing in all these pathogens as we stand here through your nose and your mouth, and it goes down through and hits your lymphoid tissue, and you build up natural immunity. When you have a jab, it bypasses that pathway. It goes into your bloodstream. Would you feed yourself through your ear or your nose instead of your mouth? No, it's a wrong entry even into the body. Let alone the adjuvants, and everybody knows the mercury and the heavy metals. It is ironic that the government will not allow us natural herd immunity to these viruses. 5 years ago, they were saying we want herd immunity by having 94% of people vaccinated for pertussis, and yet here we are for wanting to have natural immunity, but they won't let us because there's no money in natural immunity.
Most of the people in here have jeopardised their entire life, work and career. Since I got into this, my wife has been stripped as a naturopath. The Australian Tax Office has been onto us. I was pulled up during the middle of the election campaign by police and told that they had strong 3 different reports that I'd abducted a child. I'm telling you, this was at Newcastle Airport. We pulled up at the airport, they swooped on us, we were taken into rooms. Fortunately, I had my secretary with me, and she said, and they went right through the car, and the police were very apologetic. They said, we had very strong reports that you had. I didn't even worry. I thought, of course, this is the game we're in. This is the dirty tricks game. We had our PayPal stopped in the middle of the election campaign when we were waiting for money. We ended up in a huge financial deficit because of it. This is real. Like, they're after us, but we need you guys. Yeah. So I'm just going we're on your side. We're fighting for you. We're going to do the best we can. Everybody's got a role in this, but we're all in this together. And Uncle Max is our cultural advisor in the party, and he's been an invaluable help to us.
Which is very important at a time where the government has declared that we are responsible for spreading misinfo on 5G, pledging at the end of last year 9 million of taxpayers' funds to combat misinfo about 5G. In addition, the safety standards currently adopted for our Wi-Fi 4G, 3G and 2G are flawed to the point of being fraudulent. They do not refer or relate in any way to pre-thermal, scientifically established biological effects seen at a cellular level. Or perhaps it simply represents the IQ of those representing us as leaders. These standards may well protect us from being cooked by our phones and Wi-Fi, but they do not protect us from harm resulting from cellular dysregulation seen at the pre-thermal levels. It is misinfo to declare 5G as safe. 5G, as a name to describe a band of frequencies from 6 to 300 gigahertz, has not had a single biological safety test in all this range of frequencies, proposed pulsations and nanopulsations. It cannot be declared safe. There is no science to back that up.
The website makeaustraliahealthyagain.org will give you detailed knowledge of the Magna Carta and particularly Article 61. After you've heard this statement of truth, I ask every thinking Australian to go to makeaustraliahealthyagain.org and sign the online petition supporting invocation of Article 61 of the Magna Carta to save Australia and our children and their children to come. In addition, we encourage all Australians to stand up and continue to demonstrate against this corrupt government. This Australian government no longer represents the Australian people. This government is now a corporation with international corporate clients. The agenda of this government is funded by and controlled by international corporate clients for the benefit of these clients and not for us, the Australian people. 100%! This Australian government is blindly following the mainland Chinese dictatorship and terrorizing the people of Australia with a totally false panicdemic based on corporate lies. The Australian government dictatorship has destroyed our economy, is depriving us of our human and legal rights, terrorizing us with unfounded, shocking fear and panic, and is creating universal suffering for all Australians, destroying our businesses, our assets, our lives and our families. This is treason! 40,000 Australians have died since the start of February this year, 750 of flu. Have you heard about these Australians that have died? No, nada, nix. Has the Australian economy been shut down because of the death of these 40,000 Australians, or even the 750 who died of flu? No! What's blasted at us 24/7 is a tiny, tiny, minuscule few of these unfortunate old age deaths, which are part of those 40,000 anyway, who have comorbidity issues apart from old age, who are signed by an engineered false positive RT-PCR test to a totally unproven flu-like disease, COVID-19, which cannot even pass Koch's postulates, the gold standard of infectious disease proof. Recently, the President of Tanzania has received that COVID-19 positive test for pawpaws, goats and birds. It's all rubbish.